entire time that you're on board. That means anybody sitting on your lap has to stay sitting on that same lap the entire time, and please no seat swapping. While we wait for our turn to enter the reserve, if you look over your head, you can see the animal spotting guide that has a list of all the animals we are hoping to cross paths with today. Now, there are no guarantees as we are dealing with wild animals. Sometimes wild animals just happen to wander off. We're going to hang out here for just a little bit while we wait for clearance to enter. Alright, we are now entering the Harambe Wildlife Reserve, starting our adventures off in the little Ituri Forest, home to some animals that are pretty good at camouflage. So we usually got to keep our eyes peeled to see if there is anybody hiding out there. As we make the right turn, you might be able to see on your left some bongos hiding up there at the top of the hill. And in the distance on your right, there is an okapi hiding behind the bushes. The bongos on your left have very smooth, sleek horns pointed backwards, making it easy for them to sneak through the bushes without getting all caught up. The okapi on your right may look like it's part zebra, but its closest relative is actually the giraffe. We can tell it's related to the giraffe due to the shape of its head, as well as its prehensile tongue. If you have never heard that word before, prehensile just means they grab things with it, just like we grab things with our prehensile fingers. Very difficult to tell, but as we go up this hill a little bit, on your left, on top of the cliff, up against the far back wall, there is a black rhino sleeping up there. The black rhino is the smaller of the rhinos that live on the reserve. They can only grow to be about 3,000 pounds. Up ahead on your left, the greater kudu and the saddle-billed stork. The greater kudu is one of the tallest antelopes in Africa, standing at around 5 feet at the shoulders. The saddle-billed stork gets its name from the yellow area near the top of the beak that kind of looks like the saddle that you would put on a horse. They have a wingspan that can reach up to 9 feet. And for reference, the canopy over your head is also about 9 feet wide. Right now we're headed to the Safi River. The Safi River is home to some animals that spend most of their day under the water, so while we're out here, we usually got to look pretty closely to the water to see if there is anybody hiding down there. On your right, you will see the pink-backed pelicans. There's going to be a few more pelicans up ahead, a little bit easier to see as well. Pink-backed pelicans get their name from a pink area that comes up on their back during the mating season. Their wingspans range anywhere between 6 and 9 feet in the adults. As we drive down this big open area on your left, we are hoping to find the Nile hippopotamus. There may have been some in the water behind us on your right, but it was not a very great view, unfortunately. The Nile hippopotamus spends most of their day under the water. They can hold their breath for up to 8 minutes, and they would even do that while they are sleeping. They'll hold their breath for 8 minutes, come back up for a gulp of air, and head back down without ever having to wake up. There is one down there, but the angle, again, not super great for it. There is some more up ahead that'll be a little bit easier to see. Up against that far back wall, past the last waterfall, there are some of them in the water out there. That is the Nile hippopotamus. And coming up on your left is the Nile crocodile. The Nile crocodile. The Nile crocodile is the largest crocodile in Africa. That includes crocodiles and alligators. Even though they have those big, powerful jaws that they use to help them capture their prey, they can be gentle when they want to be. Both mother and father will roll an egg around inside of their mouth to help their baby hatch. And once that baby does hatch, they can carry it around inside of their mouth to protect it from whatever's going on outside. In just a moment, we will be entering the Savannah. The Savannah is greatly affected by the animals that live in the area. We are going to see that there aren't that many trees out there due to the elephants bulldozing their way through the trees. We're going to see a lot of patchy areas in the grass from the antelope eating up the grass. And we're going to see that there aren't that many leaves on the bottom half of the trees because the giraffe will eat any of the leaves that they can reach. In the distance on your right, you might be able to see the springboks, one of the world's smallest antelopes, and obviously much closer to us on the right is the Hartman's mountain zebra. Every zebra has a unique striping pattern. Note you are exactly alike, just like we all have unique fingerprints. Baby zebras can recognize their own mothers just by looking at her stripes. The springbok that was back there was one of the world's smallest antelopes. They are capable of jumping up into the air 6 feet and forward 13 feet. Coming up on your right is the eland, one of the world's largest antelopes. They got a big flap of skin under their neck called a dewlap, and they run blood through the dewlap to lower their body temperature. And out there near the center on your right is the Ankole cattle. Ankole cattle, one of the only 2 domesticated animals that live on the preserve. Those big horns that they have are not completely solid. They have a honeycomb-like structure on the inside, and they run blood through that honeycomb-like structure to lower their body temperature. It's going to be very difficult to see right now, but on your left there are some painted dogs. All the way towards the back out there. There's one right by that small tree, and most of them are sleeping at the edge of that big rock wall, all the way in the back. Painted dogs are some of the most efficient hunters in the animal world, far more successful at hunting than any of the big cat species. They gather in groups of up to 15, led by the alpha mating pair. It's the alpha female and the alpha male. On your left is the sable antelopes and the giraffe up ahead. The sable antelopes get their name due to their reddish color. However, they get darker and browner as they get older. They have long horns pointed right back towards their own bodies that will protect them from any predators that try to pounce on them. If you get a good look at the spots on this giraffe over here, you'll see that their spots have a lot of rough, jagged edges. That tells us that it's a Maasai giraffe. The Maasai subspecies of giraffe. The giraffe has a prehensile tongue. Again, prehensile means grab things with it. And that tongue can reach up to 18 inches in length. Here's the zebras again on your right. When the zebras are born, they'll be born with their legs at nearly full adult length, and the rest of their body just catches up over time. This helps make it possible for them to walk and run as soon as 45 minutes after being born. Pretty hard to see right now, but way off in the distance on your right at the crest of the hill there are some wildebeests.
I see them. A beast.
Wildebeest gather in groups as large as 1.5 million, and they can travel up to 1,000 miles during the migratory season. Coming up on your right is the African elephant. If you get a good look at the ears on the elephant, you'll see that the ears kind of look like the continent of Africa. That is one of the ways that we can visually identify it as the African elephant. It's nearly impossible to see, but against that back wall on your left, there is a mandrill walking around it. Actually, just stopped. One of the world's largest monkeys. The male mandrill has a red and blue area at the top of the nose that gets more prominent as it gets excited. Oh, they try to establish dominance amongst each other. Elephants generally gather together in a large family unit led by the matriarch, which is the oldest female. However, once the male elephant reaches a certain age, he'll leave the family unit to live all by himself, or they'll come together in what is scientifically referred to as a bachelor group. So if you ever see an elephant all by itself, it's a pretty solid bet. You're looking at an adolescent male elephant. Drive down this big open area on your left, we should be seeing some more elephants out there. by as much as 15 degrees Fahrenheit.
I can't do that.
Coming up on your left is a flamboyant greater flamingos. Flamboyant is the word for a group of flamingos. They get their pink color from all the brine shrimp that they eat. A newborn baby flamingo is gray in color, and it takes them up to 2 years of eating brine shrimp to get that pink color that we can see today. Coming up on your left is the white rhino. A white rhino is the larger of the rhinos that live on the reserve. These can grow to be anywhere between 4,000 and 5,000 pounds. In the middle of the circle on your left is something known as a mud wallow. The rhinos, as well as some other animals, like to roll around in mud wallows because the mud cools them off and it protects them from the sun, just like the sunblock that we would use. As we make this right turn, you're going to want to focus on your left. In the distance out there, there are some cheetahs laying down behind us a little bit by that first tree. There may be another cheetah wandering around out there. Cheetahs are the fastest land animals in the world. They can run up to 60 miles per hour, but they can only hold that speed for a few hundred yards. There are 2 more cheetahs up ahead at the very end of this area coming up on your left. If you get a good look at the cheetah's face, you would see a black line going from the inside of the eye to the outside of the mouth. That black line reduces the glare from the sun, making it easier for them to hunt during the day.
You see them?
In just a moment, we'll be reaching the Kopi Rocks. Kopi Rocks gather up a lot of heat from the sun, making them nice and warm. And if you have any pet cats at home, I'm sure you know how much your cat loves to sit in a nice warm spot. Just like that cat right there on your left, known as the lion. Lions are a nocturnal species. They prefer to hunt at night. So when we see them during the day, they are usually resting. On your right, you'll see the white rhino again, as well as the water buck. The water buck is an antelope species that spends most of their day in and around the water. Way off in the distance on your right is also the ostrich. Largest bird in the world, and even though they cannot fly, they still got those big powerful wings that they use to help them change directions when they're running. On your left, you can see that there is another lion up there. The female lion will be the one that does most of the hunting, while the male stays at home, protecting his territory, watching after any young ones. On your left is the warthog. Warthogs are one of the largest burrowing animals in Africa, known to recycle the burrows left behind by other animals, making them all their own. even though we've been able to see all the rhinos very clearly today, it's unlikely that they've been able to see us as well because they have very poor vision. But they make up for it with very excellent and very sensitive hearing. In just a moment, we'll reach the edge of the reserve, which is where we'll find the warden's house. The warden has his house on the edge of the reserve, so he can back around the village to gather supplies whenever he needs. And I do believe the warden has some company over his house today. Coming up on your left is the Nigerian dwarf goat. You might be looking at some of them goats thinking that they're babies, but they are fully grown adult Nigerian dwarf goats. They spend most of their time resting and sleeping, but when they are active, they can be very playful with each other. The Nigerian dwarf goat makes a great pet for a farmer because it will provide a milk that is high in protein. And when compared to other milk-producing animals, they don't take up that much space or make that much of a mess. We're now headed back to Harambe Village. As we head back, I'm going to share some things that we can all do to help our animal friends. One thing that you can do is set up a bird bath or a bird feeder, which would make a great pit stop for the migratory bird species on their long journeys. Another fun family activity would be to set up a butterfly garden. Butterfly gardens make a good home for these monarch butterflies, which is an endangered. If there's any wilderness explorers on one today and they want to get your badge about your safari, they might ask you the name of the truck that you're on. And the name of the truck that you are on today is the Simba 1. Simba 1 for the wilderness explorers out there. If you want to see some more animals after heading off the truck, you can always head down to Gorilla Falls where you'll see more animals.
That was pretty cool.
Native to Africa, such as the western lowland gorillas, the meerkats, and one of my favorites, the naked mole rat.